welcome to Miss Supranational Germany 2022. I am Denisse Nicolle, your Miss Supranational Germany 2021, and I will be your host for Supra Chat with yours truly, Denisse Nicolle. Supra Chat with Denisse Nicolle is our chance to get to know all the inspirational and aspirational women vying for the Miss Supranational Germany title. Last October, we met our 9 well-spoken candidates, but only 4 of them have advanced to the semi-final round. In a few minutes, we are going to see and hear our semi-finalists. Prior to this online event, all the 9 delegates went to Berlin for a photo shoot by Ulrich Brothagen and a video shoot by Ayham Aldin. And I heard that the contestants had so much fun. So let's all watch this film. Supra Chat group number 1 of semi-finalists. Congratulations. But the question is, are you ready?
Yes, we are ready.
Hi. Yes.
Okay. So we can begin with your introduction now, Sarah.
Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah Bauroth. I'm German. Although I'm currently still in the UK, I'm very much looking forward to return home for Christmas and also for the Miss Supranational Germany finals in January. I'm studying advertising and marketing in my final year here in the UK, and I do that most of the time, but at the side, I like to model, encourage sustainability, and also to volunteer. And I look forward to hearing and answering the questions that Denisse Nicolle has for us today.
I'm glad you're very excited. Thank you, Sarah. It's your turn to shine, Sabrina.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sabrina Binder, but everyone just calls me Sabrina in short. I'm 25 years old, and I recently obtained my Bachelor of Science in Economics. I am currently working as a cost engineer in the automotive segment. I was born and raised here in Germany. However, I am half German and half Filipina. And being introduced to different cultures while growing up helped me to become an open-minded and strong woman. When I was young, my mother always taught me the importance of education and being independent. Because she told me, even if you want to pursue and to become an artist, you still need to be able to sell your art. Therefore, my advocacy is to support young women in their education. And in order to support them, I give free tutoring to young girls. I support them with their homework and paperwork if necessary. In my spare time, I like to enjoy the nature, do fitness, and to cook and bake for my family and friends. In the future, I want to become a successful businesswoman while being able to give back to the community. I'm thankful to be part of the Miss Supranational Germany competition, and therefore I enjoy every moment of my journey. I can't wait to start.
Let's enter the question and answer portion. Each of you will be given a question to answer, and these are prepared by yours truly and the Queen's Camp. So the first question goes to Sabrina first. Sabrina, what in life is beautiful for you? Where do you find inspiration?
Thank you very much for this question. I myself find inspiration in other people. When I was younger, my mother was my biggest inspiration. She was always a hard-working woman, even though there were many obstacles in her life. Yet she was able to overcome all of these. And now that I grew older, I realized everybody has this beauty and inspiration in themselves. So whenever I go out and meet new people, I find a different kind of inspiration. Everyone is unique, and you can learn something from everyone you meet in your life. And this is something which is truly beautiful in my eyes, because you can see the uniqueness in every person. Thank you.
Thank you for your answer. And I would also like to ask this to Sarah. Sarah, what in life is beautiful for you? Where do you find inspiration?
I think there's a lot of things in life that are beautiful. For example, in the volunteer work I do, I find beauty in sharing with people because I always have a lot of people that are thankful to me for giving them food, and they're always kind, and usually they're always on time. And I also see beauty in nature. For example, there are so many beautiful flowers or even beautiful situations out there, and I mostly gather inspiration from things I see, but also people I know. For example, my family members. My father is a strong inspiration because of his ethics that he has, because of the way he works and the things he has achieved for my family and to help me have the upbringing that I have. And as well as my mother, because she always built up something no matter what country we were in. She always found people to talk to have friends. She built up her own business in the different countries. And that just inspires me that no matter where I go, I'm able to also achieve something and to make something good out of the situation for myself, but also to engage with the community and to help people. And yeah, I think there's a lot of different sources of inspiration, and I try to use all the sources and gather inspirations from different places and regarding different areas of my life.
Thank you for sharing your answer, Sarah. And I would like to ask you the second question first. So, if there is only one dose of the COVID-19 vaccination left, who would you give it to? Would you give it to a senior citizen or to a teenager? And please explain your answer. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. I think it's a tricky one because tradition tells me that I would give it to a senior citizen because of the respect for the elderly. And I know that's a big thing in many cultures, for example, in Chinese cultures, where the young people care for their elderly. But my brain sort of tells me that I would give it to a teenager. And I am aware that teenagers have a better immune system to start with and a better chance to overcome COVID by themselves compared to seniors. But I would still give it to a teenager because I think that this booster of COVID-19 in their blood would help them overcome the sickness should they get it in a better way and leave less damaging effects. And I would hope that they would be thankful for it and learn from the experience, and they have more to achieve, so to say. They can help the world more because they still have a longer lifespan in front of them. And I would hope they would use the experience in a positive way and give back to the community. So that would be my choice for this question.
Thank you for your honest answer. If you were to answer the similar question, Sabrina, who would you give it to? The last COVID-19 vaccination? Would you give it to a senior citizen or to a teenager?
Thank you very much for this question. I believe this question can be solved in different ways, like the way Sarah did. But I personally believe I would give the last vaccination to an elderly person. I would do this because most of the times elderly people depend on other people. Like when you're an older person, you may struggle to go shopping alone, or you need someone to take care of you. So you are more exposed to other people. So the risk of getting COVID-19 is very high for these people, as they cannot be alone most of the time. And looking at a teenager, they don't depend that much on others. For them, it is easier to social distance. They can use other ways to protect themselves, which elderlies do not have. So for me, in this situation, even though it is a very tough question, I would give the last vaccine dose to an elderly person, because I strongly believe that the teenager would be grateful to see that they could support another person who cannot support themselves. Thank you.
Thank you also for your honest answer, Sabrina. And I'm actually very glad to hear about these answers. And the good thing is we won't only have one dose left of the COVID-19 vaccination. So let's continue with our third question. And this one goes for Sabrina first. My question is, are beauty contests outdated? Why or why not?
I strongly believe the beauty contests are not outdated. There are some stigma in beauty contests, which are outdated, but beauty contests themselves, they are not. Because beauty contests sometimes have the stigma of being very just about the looks and nothing else. But in fact, beauty contest is about so much more. Young women or everybody who joins beauty contests, they can showcase their personality. In a beauty contest, usually not the most beautiful person wins, which is also very subjective. Everybody thinks beauty is different. But the person who wins is most of the time a person who's very inspiring, who's a person who can make others laugh, who's working very hard, which personality is about to win. So in beauty contest, it's about much more than just of the looks. It's about who you are and who you show who you are. Thank you.
Thank you. This question also goes for you, Sarah. So what do you think? Are beauty contests outdated? Why or why not?
So I think that Sabrina gave a very good answer already, and I actually pretty much agree with her answer. I think that beauty contests are not necessarily outdated, even though they have been around for ages. But I think they need to be updated, maybe, in terms of the criteria and what is judged, to make it more about personality and to make it more about things that you can achieve through it instead of just like looks. And I think that Miss Supranational is already heading in that direction. That's why I'm also very glad to be part of this contest, because it's much more than just having a pretty face, but it's also about having a good mind, good ethics, good values, and through updating and adding the typical beauty contest outlines to the current times, I think that makes for a very strong competition, and it's a very hard competition as well to win. And I think that it's something very empowering as well. So people that win beauty contests have power to be heard and can also really change things in people's mindsets and also really inspire. So I think that it is a very useful tool and a very interesting and empowering thing to take part in.
Thank you for your wonderful answer. And yes, indeed, Miss Supranational Miss Supranational, the competition, is really looking for someone who's not just a pretty face, but someone who is also inspirational and aspirational. And I was so happy that I've met almost 50 candidates, 50 other friends in Poland this year. So, yes. And this is actually my last question for you. And I would like Sarah to begin answering this. And the last question is, have you ever experienced any criticism for joining beauty contests? If so, what were they and how did you handle them?
I don't think I'm a very good person to answer that question, to be honest, because this is my first beauty contest. And before that, I did not know much about beauty contests. But through joining this contest, I had to teach myself what beauty contests are about and kind of try and, so to say, mitigate my own stigma about it and look behind what I see from, I don't know, like the typical soap opera type series. And this has taught me what beauty contests are about. And for example, that this one is much more than just pretty faces. And I've not experienced any criticism per se for joining this. I've had some people ask me, or I've had some people have the same stigma as myself, asking me why I'm joining a beauty contest, because they also think that it's quite shallow. So what I've always done is explain to them that this is way more, and that Miss Supranational really looks for the personality as well, and that it's not about just me sitting here and smiling, but for example, in these questions, thinking of good answers and being honest and representing Germany in the best way that I can. So that's what I've always explained to them, and I've tried to change their minds and open their mindset a little bit about it.
Thank you for your answer, Sarah, and for breaking the stigma around beauty pageants and for sharing, of course, your experiences. And I would still love to ask the similar question to Sabrina. Sabrina, have you ever experienced any criticism for joining beauty contests? If so, what were they and how did you handle them?
Actually, I did experience some criticism for joining beauty contests before, as I already joined a beauty contest before in my life. And the main criticism I received was that beauty contests are the opposite side of feminism. And this was something that really stuck in my mind for a long time. I was thinking about this criticism very toughly because I was wondering what defines feminism. For me, it is a strong woman, or strong women in general, leading their way through life, and no matter what happens, they stay strong and they are able to overcome any obstacles, and they are open for criticism and open to discussion. And therefore, I did some research about beauty contests. And like Sarah already said, beauty contests are way more than just about looks. It's about your personality and how you handle things. And so whenever I experience criticism in form like that, I want to discuss with the people why they believe that a beauty contest is the opposite of feminism, when in fact, joining beauty contest takes a lot of strength. It takes a lot of confidence. And as I joined a beauty contest before, I met so many strong women. I learned so much from them. They were all so inspirational. Some of them were artists, some of them were dancers, some of them were in science. These were all strong women, but yet they were happy with who they are, and they were happy to showcase that they're more than just their looks. And so I believe when you experience criticism, you have to be open-minded and listen to the person why they believe this. And then you start a discussion and show your mind. Thank you.
Thank you for your answer and sharing your experience, Sabrina. And that was actually the last question. Now we are going to enter the third round of our Supra Chat. And for the Supra Chat semifinals in Germany, we will do it a bit different. Sarah, Sabrina, you will be presented with 2 photos. And each of you will be given 2 to 3 minutes to first describe the photo, identify the topic, mention some facts, relate to it to yourself, and deliver a message of hope. And this picture is for you, Sabrina.
Thank you very much for this picture. In this picture, you can see a young woman holding a pregnancy test. But you can also see her crying while she's holding the pregnancy test. I assume it is about teenage pregnancy, as she seems to be quite young. Looking at this picture, it hurts me to see her so desperate. It seems like she's alone, not knowing what to do in this situation. In Germany alone, every year, over 12,000 young women under 18 get pregnant. So you can see this is a very common thing to happen here in Germany or overall in the world. But pregnancy and becoming a mother of a child is a gift. So this hurts me to see someone so sad and desperate when actually they were giving a gift. It is something so beautiful to be able to carry a child and to make a new life in this world. But I can imagine being a young mother can bring challenges. However, in Germany, for example, there are multiple organizations that will support you in any moment. When we are desperate and feel like we feel like our world is falling apart, we must never forget that we are not alone. If only I could hug this girl and listen to her thoughts. I'm sure talking about this about her situation will help her and be able to overcome this. Talking to people about your feelings and concerns may help you in this way. Me, myself, I've also been struggling in life before. And at first, I was like the girl in the picture, desperate, alone, and not wanting to talk to somebody because I felt like I was like I was how do I say as like it was bad for me to talk about my feelings because then other people would get sad too, for example. But what helped me through tough times like that was opening up about my feelings and realizing people want to listen to my problems. People want to help me. They want to support you. And this shows me that you are never alone in this world. There will always be people behind you and willing to help you. And no matter how dark you think the sky is, there is always sun coming in the next day. So never give up and be open for others to help you. Thank you.
Thank you for describing the picture and also for your message of hope, Sabrina. Now, I would also like to ask Sarah to tell me what she sees in this picture.
So I too see a young woman holding a pregnancy test and looking sad. And I feel empathetic, sad, and also puzzled because I ask myself what the situation is and why she is unhappy. I also ask myself how old she might be because in the image it's hard to tell, but she looks quite young. Therefore, I will assume that the topic is also teenage pregnancy or unwanted pregnancy. However, it could also be sad. It could also be that she is sad that she's not able to conceive. But I will assume the one with the more negative connotation for this case. Teenage pregnancy is a global problem which occurs in high, middle, and low-income countries, but it's most likely to occur in marginalized communities. And it can have widespread reasons like lacking education, lacking contraceptives, pressure to marry and to bear children, or sexual abuse. But it is sometimes also through choice or wish that women get pregnant at a very, very early age. Personally, I have, of course, heard of it, but I've never directly been exposed to it or confronted with it. I do distantly know one or two people who conceived at a younger age, but it would not count as teenage pregnancy. And I've, of course, seen very young women, mostly in Germany, like walking around with their children. And I've read of many initiatives about trying to overcome this problem in third world countries. And even in the UK at university fairs, I've been offered free condoms. I find that education, awareness, and offering contraceptive methods is important no matter in what country it is in, or no matter if the rates are currently declining worldwide. And I feel like teenage pregnancy is often judged, sometimes misjudged as well, because people think that young mothers are from certain socioeconomic backgrounds and that they will not be great mothers. And I think it's a topic to approach carefully because there are so many reasons why teenage pregnancy can occur, like the ones that I mentioned before. And despite a high number of teenage pregnancies being unplanned, there are still some women that want to have children at such an early age. And in any case, I think that women and their potential partners should be supported. And I think this is a very, very important point to remember because, as Sabrina said, there's a lot of emotions involved in it, and there's a lot because it's so misjudged sometimes and judged. They feel like they are not free to talk about it, and that people will immediately have opinions about it. So I think it's very important to approach the topic with an open mindset, to listen to them, give them empathy, and to support them.
Thank you for your answer. And now we have our second picture, and I would like you to start describing it, Sarah.
So I see four people dressed in protective clothing and holding a coffin in this picture, and it makes me feel very unsure, and it also gives me the feeling that they are scared of something. To me, it almost looks like a mass burial site and reminds me a little bit of war. And after all, the fight against COVID is a real struggle and affecting the whole world, basically. And even worse with the new variations and the continuing mutations of the virus. Um, as far as I've read, it is still unsure about if the deceased infected bodies still transmit COVID. They do still carry the RNA, but that does not necessarily mean that they are infectious. However, of course, governments have put certain regulations in place to ensure the safety of everyone attending. To me, this topic is something I would actually rather avoid talking about because of the grave subject matter. And governments have issued guidelines about how these burials are supposed to be done or how they're not supposed to be done. And it is surely very difficult for families to have burials that are not traditional, especially if they have certain beliefs and certain burial rituals that because of these regulations they can now not do. And having social distancing at burials and seeing the body of your loved one potentially being carried by people wearing full protective gear is a very hard thing to wrap your mind around if you're not in that situation. But trying to put myself in that situation, I would not like to imagine it. And my grandmother is actually currently in hospital because she has COVID, and I don't even want to imagine her dying. But trying to put myself in that situation and this seeing the site at her burial would make it even harder and would make me even sadder when I say goodbye to her. And I think that in general, this decision, putting these regulations in place by decision makers, was a balance of ethics, traditions, and the threat that COVID has brought us. I think if you're facing such a situation, and generally to do with COVID, it's very important to have hope to remember, I guess, how the world was, how the world will become again, and not let yourself be dragged down by this situation. Also, to find beauty in the small things, things that you might not necessarily notice, but that still make the situation more positive and that you can still be thankful for. And I think that is a very valuable thing to remember in such situations.
Find beauty in the little things. Thank you for that, Sarah. Now I would also like to ask you, Sabrina, to please describe this picture. What do you see in it?
In this photo, we can see, I think, a funeral. There is a grave and 5 people in a protective suit. However, what we do not see are grieving friends or family. We do see some flowers and candles, which makes me think that this might be a funeral. I do believe that this picture shows a death case due to the current pandemic. It also looks like a mass grave here in my eyes. Not usually graves are with a lot of flowers and a symbol for hope that the person who died might live in another world and continue there. But in this picture, it looks very sad because there are barely any flowers, no people, barely any graves. And losing a beloved one is always a tough time for everyone who's involved. But not being able to say goodbye makes it even worse for everyone who is involved, for everyone who knew the person and loved the person. For most cultures, there are several traditions for a funeral, and not being able to follow these traditions makes it even worse for the family, not being able to say goodbye and give them a proper goodbye. In Germany alone, over 100,000 people died due to the pandemic. But this is a topic that not only affects Germany, it affects the whole world. And no matter how rich or poor a person or a country may be, this is something that affects everyone in this world in this current situation. Recently, a family friend of mine died due to COVID-19. And seeing their family grieving but not being able to say goodbye to the person really broke my heart. They sent their relative to the hospital and were not able to visit them in the hospital and just got a call like, I'm sorry, but he's dead. And I cannot imagine how hard it must be to see this and to experience this. So this picture reminds me that health is a very, very important aspect of our life. And also reminds me that life is very fragile and we should enjoy every moment we have with our beloved ones. And that we should appreciate every moment we have with them. Because not being able to say goodbye is very tough. And so imagine when you go around and meet your friends and family or your grandparents, always be grateful to have time with them. Be grateful to be able to call them, to say hello and have a chat. This picture also reminds me that we all have to overcome the pandemic together. And I strongly believe we can save other people by staying strong ourselves. So we should continue social distancing, following the government restrictions, and of course getting vaccinated, so everyone can be safe in this tough time. But even though this is a tough time, never forget that life goes on and we will be able to overcome this. Thank you.
Thank you, Sabrina. Indeed, I totally agree. We will overcome this. Thank you so much for all your great descriptions and explanation of these 2 pictures. Now, I would actually like to give you some time to thank your family, your friends, your supporters, and yes, invite them to our finals very soon. Starting with Sabrina.
I want to thank everyone who supports me in this journey, everyone who's watching right now. I want to thank you for your time, and I cannot wait to continue my journey here. And I'm glad that you're all here with me. Thank you very much. And please continue watching the journey and join our finals. And thank you very much.
Sarah?
Thank you everyone for watching this chat today. I hope you found our answers and getting to know more about us very interesting. And I also wanted to really thank you for supporting me as well as all the other contestants on the journey. I have met some amazing people when we did the first photo shoot in Berlin, and I'm really looking forward to seeing them again in the finals for Miss Supranational Germany, as well as hopefully meeting all the other contestants in Poland. And I've just learned so much since this is my first beauty contest, and I didn't really know much about beauty contests, but it's been such a motivational and inspirational journey, and I feel like I'm really able to grow and hopefully be a good representative for Germany as well. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Sarah. This is why we support the Miss Supranational organization. We celebrate inspirational and aspirational women. To all our viewers, thank you for watching. And until next time, this is Denisse Nicolle, your Miss Supranational Germany 2021, and see you in the finals.